Hey everybody, it's Travis and Ollie, and today we're going to start incorporating the electric collar. Now, look at my other video where I was talking about the use of e-collars. Now, I'm going to show you how I start incorporating it and showing that it's not this huge torture device that everybody thinks it is. Now, what I like to introduce the e-collar on is the place and recall commands, because those are two very distinct commands that Ollie or any dog can learn quickly, but they also have a problem with those same commands for duration, distractions, and things like that. So while they're very distinct commands in the dog's brain, they're also one of the most boring, I guess, for them, and they get easily distracted. Now, what I did is he's on a sport dog collar, one of the lower end ones that have very light stimulation. Normally, I would use a e-tech or e-collar technology such as an Einstein or a Pro Educator or something, but unfortunately the ones that I have like the collars do not fit him, because most of the collars I have are for medium to large dogs. So I have the sport dog collar, and what I need to do is find what we call the working level. Now, the working level is the less amount of stimulation needed to get the behavior that we want. So what I'm looking for is an ear twitch, a neck scratch, a surprised kind of look, but what I don't want is a vocalization such as a yelp or a large fearful reaction. Stop it. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to get him, okay, so nothing yet. So I'm going to move it to a 2. There, so a 2. You know, I'll hit it again so you can see. So he's just wondering where it came from. But notice he's not stressed out. He's not freaking out. It's not hurting him. It just was oh, what was that? Because that's the first time he's ever felt that. Even though he's been wearing these collars for about a week or a week and a half now, all he's ever heard was the tone, just like that. And even the tone, you see how he kind of says, what is that? So it's not hurting, it's not torturing, it's nothing like that. So that his working level right now is at a 2. Now with higher involvements with distractions, I may hit him with a 2 and he may not even feel it. So I might have to jump it to a high 2 or a 3, or a continuous 2 and a 3 to get his attention. Now another thing I do, of course, I have my leash on him, because I want him to learn what we call on and off. Whenever I want him to come towards me, then I will be able to reel him in, add pressure if he's fighting it, and the second he gives into that pressure, I release the stimulation, so he learns how to turn on and off the stimulation. He knows that he has to do whatever I say to stop that tingling that he feels, that little slight discomfort. And then whenever I want him to place, I can pull him into the place and give light stimulation. And then once he learns that, and it usually takes 2 or 3 times for him to fully understand this new sensation. Even though he fully understands the place and the recall, it may take a few moments before he realizes what exactly the collar has to do with this situation. Now, some things I'm going to look for that are common is, say, whenever I give him the place command, he may not want to get off that place in fear of being shocked some more. So if I say place and he doesn't go in place and I give him a couple nicks, he may say, oh, okay, I have to get on the place. But then in his mind he might think, well, I'm going to have to stay here or I'm going to get nicked again. But I want him to learn that it's not the actual command itself, it's obeying me that's causing the slight discomfort. But another thing to also add, you have to have a good positive reinforcement tool as well, such as the treats. So this is not necessarily positive punishment. This is still reinforcement. This is negative reinforcement. I add stimulation to send him off, and then whenever he does the command, I remove the stimulation to reinforce that behavior. So this is a form of negative reinforcement. Okay? And so whenever he does that, I want to reward him properly with a positive reinforcement. Now with some dogs, this might just stress them out too much where they don't want to take treats from the hand. And if that's the case, you might want to lower the stimulation or take a break for a while. Ollie has already had a few sessions today without the collar, just doing obedience. So he might be a little full, so he might not be interested in treats anyway. And we're going to try it. So here we go. I'm going to get a few treats. All right, he's following me to the door, and I'll say, place. No, he doesn't want to place. Place. Nick, good. So I just gave him a little bit of a nick whenever he didn't want to go, and he immediately went. So, Ollie. Yes. I didn't even do a nick that time. Place. Yes. Ollie, nick, 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 yes, good. So just slight nicks. And it's kind of hard to do with different things, but place. Yes, good boy. That was a little slow on the reward, but Ollie, nick, 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 yes, good, good. Place, nick, 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 yes. Ollie, nick, nick, yes. So now he's doing good with this. I think he's slowly understanding, so I'm going to take the leash off because it's obvious that I don't have to reel him in and out. So this is just going to become a pain. Ollie, place. Nick, 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 nick. See, scratching. Ollie, place. Ollie, place. Nick, 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 nick. See, this is... Yes, good. So he figured it out. I'm going to lower that down to a 1 because as you see, it's not hurting him. It's just causing a itching sensation. So I don't want him to be distracted by that. I want him focused on me. So I'm going to lower it back down to a 1. Ollie, nick, 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 nick. See, he doesn't want to come now. Yes, good. Ollie, place. Nick, nick, yes. Ollie, nick, 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 nick. Yes, good. Good boy. Ollie, place. Nick, 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 yes. Ollie, nick, 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 yes. Place. Nick, 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 yes. Ollie, nick, 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 yes. Tail's wagging, ears are up, he's focused on the treat. So as you see, this is not torture. Ollie, place. Nick, 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 yes. Now I'm going to switch from nicks to continuous. Ollie, yes, good. Ollie, yes, good. So that's with continuous. I add the continuous stimulation before I say the command. I say the command. The second he moves on that command, I release the pressure. Ollie, place. Yes, good boy. Ollie, yes, good boy. Place. Oh, he's trying to go to the water bowl. Ollie. Good time for a recall. Yes, good boy. You couldn't see that, but he did it. Place. Yes, good boy. So what he did is he went to the water bowl to get a drink of water, and I put on the continuous and kept calling him until he came to me. Good boy. Ollie. Yes, good boy. Place. Yes, good boy. Ollie. Yes, good boy. Place. Yes, good boy. Good. Now we'll just cut that short here. Good boy. But as you see, it's not torturing. He's a small dog. He's not yelping. He's not freaking out. He's not becoming overly stressed. He's just a little confused of what's going on, but he quickly learned what was happening. So now, after a few sessions of that, he'll learn that to turn off that pressure, He has to do what I say. And I'm going to work that in the house for the next few days and then move to the yard whenever I start getting that control. Now when we move to the yard, I'll have a long line on him where I have that extra control on him. But now we're going to start working on the 3 Ds. Duration, distance, and distraction. So what I will do now is I will put him in a place, and I'll sit across the house or something with the remote, and if he tries to break that, or if he does break it, then I just nick him, tell him place again, and he goes back. And then he'll learn that he has to stay here until I release him. But very stress-free, very calm, very collected. And the whole thing is he understands the commands already. I'm not using this to teach the behavior. I'm using this to enforce the behavior. So that's the key. A lot of old trainers would just turn it on and say sit and yank it until they sit, then turn down. Then over a couple sessions, the dog goes, okay, whenever he says sit, I better sit. Well, that's when you get the sad-looking dogs. Whenever you say sit, their head goes down and they hunker down slowly into a sit. Or if you call them back to you, see, you call them back to you, and they hunker down and they slowly come to you. I want to create happy dogs that enjoy the work. And so that's why it's very important to teach the behavior before you start using the ECollar. Now the ECollar is a simple mechanized or a mechanical remote type of training collar. So just imagine this is an electronic collar and leash, and that's all it is. So you have to tie these together to where the dog understands. Now, if he sees a leaf floating across the floor because the air turned on. But very smart dog, very calm, and as you see, not very torturous at all. So hope that shows you some little things. Then in the next few videos, you'll see how we start incorporating the ECollar into everything. So enjoy that. Have a good one. Yeah, right on.